I can face and shit. Your tip to a 21-year-old to receive $50,000 from insurance. Should I keep saving it now? Twin, start investing it. I'm gonna be honest with you, Twin. No nigga has became a millionaire from saving. Like, yes, you do have to put money to the side. Yes, you do have to goddamn, stack your cheese and shit like that. But the whole point is stack your cheese.
Whoa, Twin.
Because they work a job, Twin, right? And they saving their bread. And the crazy thing about it is, when you saving your bread, that's cool if you got a goal. Say your goal is just to keep saving and your money. You have some shit pop up and hit you, man. Now your money has to come out of your pocket. So niggas make millions of dollars off taking risks with their bread. So me, like, yeah, fucking buy some stupid shit. Like, got some risk. That was a risk. You know what I'm saying? That's last $10,000 when I was like struggling and I was fucking going. That was a risk. I didn't know if these clothes was gonna sell, nigga. You feel me? I didn't know if these clothes was selling. When I started selling clothes, I was selling hooking up on niggas at the lift station.
He's one side, bro. He's one.
Making like 75.
Oh my gosh.
That money.
Oh, bro, left. Nigga, who is hitting me? He's one, bro. I keep getting these niggas one shot, bro.
Any questions on that so far? All right. So, what is retainage? So, cross-border retainage is basically an amount that's earned by completed work. So you've actually completed the work, but you're not going to get paid for that amount. So it's an amount that's going to be withheld even though you've done all the work. So for instance, if you've done $100,000 of drywall work, you bill $100,000. If there's a 10% retainage, you would basically get paid $90,000 and $10,000 held as part of the retainage. So what's the purpose of this? Well, there's really two things for retainage. One, it's incentive to complete the work. Okay, I have some money held back that you're going to get, but I'm holding it while you're doing the work to basically incentivize you to complete it. And oh, by the way, if you don't complete it, I have what's called, which is monies that I've set aside, the retainage. So if you don't finish the work, I have the money to have someone else do the work on your behalf as a replacement contractor. That's what the cover cost is. Okay? Typically, you see percentages established in the contract at 10%. However, that 10% may be changed by some of the state legislature. Okay, there's new rules. Last 5 years, I'd say there's quite a few states that have introduced rules that say you can't hold 10% throughout the entire project. A lot of states say that you can hold 10% retainage, up to 50% completion of the work, and then hold no additional retainage. No additional retainage. Which means that at the end of the project, it's going to be 5%. Okay? But every state's different, and so you have to go with whatever the percentages are that are required. Again, some of the states require it only for public work, some of it require it for private work, and some of them both. One of the other things you have to look at is what does retainage, that 10%, what is it based upon? A lot of times, we'll not take a percentage retainage for general conditions costs. You remember the general conditions costs are the costs that are not part of the actual work, but are general to it. And the reason why you typically aren't going to hold monies on those is because it's not really percentage basis. In those cases, it's actual costs. When you're doing the pay application, those general conditions are actual costs that you are submitting. And so the whole 10% of something where you're actually proving this is what the dollars I've spent versus percent complete, I shouldn't have to take retainage on it. The other thing that you typically don't take retainage on is fee, your overhead and profit. You're still going to have retainage held for all the direct work, but as it relates to general conditions and fee, you may not have retainage for those. As we said, some states have laws regulating what the amounts are that you can have for retainage. And so it just depends on each state. So when is it released? When we talk about substantial completion, okay, that is typically when the retainage gets released. So once the owner can actually use and occupy the space for its intended use, well, the retainage will be released, subject to probably a holdback for what's called punch list, okay, which is minor things that need to get completed. There's an estimate for that, and they're going to hold back money for that, but the retainage is being released. When we talk about substantial completion, we'll go through detail with that. One of the problems with waiting till substantial completion of the project to release retainage is what happens with the front-end contractors, guys that are doing excavation, demolition, site utilities. They haven't even done the first 3 or 4 2 years waiting for retainage until that time. Basically financing for the project. That's another thing you have to look at, and when we the language you'll see, what it makes is to say, I can release some of those front end early, because there's substantial completion of their component work, and so we should be able to release it.
Oh my god!
It was a practice
Ain't none of these niggas 1 HP. Well, shit, I don't know. They getting knocked by a storm.
contractor. Guys,
Behind you.
fix your retainage. End of the project. You got Canada. Questions on that?
Nigga.
So what is included in the application?
Wait, how the fuck?
As we talked about, statement, guessing the bill. It's the schedule of value, but the forecasted for completed work. I say forecasted, start talking about the timing of things. Because there's so much paper, they actually submit this mid-month. Because you have so much paper that has to be done.
I'm dead. I'm dead.
Almost the entire month. Before you get to the next month, it'll be the same. One reason why these things can get very, very large is 702 G703 statement schedule of values. You're going to have one for each one of your subcontractors and vendors too. So think about it. If you have 70 subcontractors and vendors on a project, that's 70 of these. That's going to be bigger. He's going to have a lot of paper. Okay? Also, you're going to have permitting documentation. So, like I said, that general conditions class, you're going to have invoices.
Nigga, what the fuck?
Your building, Home Depot, drywall, Menards, bullets. Anything and everything, you're going to have paper from the paper supply store to fill your copy machine. The rental costs of the copy machine. All those things are going to be submitted after the pro pay application. Well, again, now it's volumes of material. Things. I think we talked about this before. Day and age with the supply chain issues, things are getting bought ahead of time. Stored either off-site at a warehouse, or on-site, whatever it may be. There's going to be rules for that, and you should be able to get paid for it. As you're trying to beat it so that you don't have delays, so you haven't got something. There may be long lead items for it. You're going to have to pay it ahead of time. As long as you have it in possession, give the owner whatever information they need as well. Another set that you typically are going to require.
Behind us. You see, I knew it was somebody behind us.
But you're going to have waivers.
Hey, I hit him for 87.
Guys,
Good shit.
because you guys, for liens, the contract, you waive your rights to lien. Basically, you haven't been paid, get attached to the actual property. Indiana, your law says that you have the right to be able to waive your lien rights under contract, and also lien waivers. So the lien waivers in Indiana are very different in that they are conditional upon payment. Illinois,